everyone, welcome to my channel. Hope you're doing well. I am going to be playing with the latest Cottage Cuts Christmas release, and this one's super cute. This one is Christmas Puppies, and it's larger than what I expected, which is fantastic because there are just so many puppies. I'm only going to use two of them, but it's really fantastic and sort of similar to what I did with the first Christmas card that I created. I am going to die cut what I need out of white cardstock that I have lined with double-sided adhesive tape. I use these 5-inch rolls of adhesive because they're just so convenient and more economical than the thinner strips. And I am still selectively die cutting just the bits that I need. And once you die cut out of white, you can see everything is still stuck, but that's not because it hasn't cut all the way through. It actually has. It's just because we do have that double-sided adhesive there, and so that bit of adhesive is still kind of holding everything in. And that's fantastic because when you color, as I'm doing here, I'm gonna leave the coloring in, but it'll be super, super duper sped up. You can just color right outside the cut line. Don't worry about that. It's actually better to color outside the cut line because then you get sort of edge to edge coloring. And so it's really super easy to color even the smallest pieces when they're still attached to the full sheet like this. So that's why I love this technique, and it's actually a lot less messy than using liquid adhesive to attach all of your or assemble all of your bits once you've cut them out of maybe solid color cardstock. I like both methods. They have different looks to them. This piece here, in fact, is what I just colored. These right here are the hooves of the deer. And even though there is actually a separate piece that you can layer on for the hoof versus the foot, like the leg of the deer, if you want, you can just color in what would normally be a separate die cut and, save yourself that extra little bit of time, because there are wonderful deboss lines that show you exactly where to layer different bits up, but that also can be used as indicators for where to color also. So this little puppy is super adorable. You see him from behind and he's kind of looking up. And I thought he would be really cute for this style of card that I've seen quite a bit on different crafty Facebook groups that I'm a part of. A lot of clean and simple card designs will have a design like this. I don't know the exact name of it, but I'm calling it a tearaway card because essentially, you'll see this in a moment once I start to assemble the card, but the look that we're going for is basically as if part of your card front has been torn, and you will actually tear part of your, not the card base, but at least your card front panel, and it reveals a scene under that torn section, and all will become clear in a little bit. I'm going to assemble the ornaments onto my tree, and that's really the only thing that I can assemble ahead of time, that and this Santa hat, because the other two elements, or more than two elements, but the other elements don't actually require assembly at this point. I'm gonna put everything I'm sticking them onto another piece of acetate liner, so that they're not going to be permanently stuck there, but it's just a nice carrier sheet for me to kind of stick all of my assembled pieces on so that I don't lose track of them. But here is my card panel. So this measures 4¼ by 5½. And I am going to ink up a little bit of a daytime sky background, but I don't actually need to ink up a lot of this. In fact, I ended up putting down more ink than I needed, but I wasn't exactly sure how far my torn edge would go. So I just decided, well, I have my inks out, I may as well just color or ink up the full width. And the idea is that parts of this panel are going to be hidden by a panel on top of it, and we'll tear the card panel that's going to go over top of this to reveal a portion of the scene that's behind. And the scene that I'm going to create is going to be made up of some of the Christmas tree peekers elements. So that's where I got the large Christmas tree and the reindeer. But as you can see, there's also Santa who can be peeking out from behind the Christmas tree, as well as an adorable penguin. And so here's the part that is a little bit scary for me. It's the tearing. So you just want to tear. I tore about 2-inch high section, and I tore it roughly halfway, maybe a little bit more than halfway. You can just eyeball that to be whatever you want it to be. And because I knew I wanted to have the puppy dog to the left of that torn edge, I didn't want to tear it too far back. I wanted to be able to leave space for my puppy. So I think I have it about right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to place things down, but I'm not going to push down very hard because they'll give me a little bit of time and wiggle room to move things around. So when I put this tree down, I don't push down on it at all. I just let it kind of hover over my card base. That way, see, I can preview this, and I wanted more of the star to show, so I was still able to lift it up and move it a smidge down. And once I've got it where I like it, where I feel like that's the permanent location for it, then that's when I give it a nice good burnish so that it can have be firmly stuck down. But that's the beginning of it. So then you can just start to build up your scene in that little area that's sort of peeking through that torn edge or behind the torn edge. And I know that the packaging shows just one hoof, but I wanted two, as if he's got both of his front hooves on the tree peeking from behind it. And then I'm gonna put the little puppy over on the left here. He's just ahead because he's also a little bit of a peeker too, even though he's from the Christmas Puppies set. And I didn't realize it ahead of time, but that little puppy has 2 paws that you can die cut as well. And I'll do that a little bit later. This Santa hat, it came from the Christmas Puppies set. And because I hadn't yet burnished down my deer, I was still able to move the antlers a little bit. And look, the Santa hat fits on the deer really well too. So these sets are really, really great. They, scale-wise, are really fun to mix and match together. And so instead of using it on the puppy, because his head is kind of angled in a way that the hat doesn't really make sense because it wasn't designed for him, I used the hat on the deer instead. So what the effect I was going for is I want to make this seem as if the puppy is the one who is tearing my card front. And so what I'm going to do is just use some low profile foam to get my panel adhered down. I am using my bone folder to really curl this torn piece here to soften it, to get it to really bend, and I'm actually gonna cut off 1.5 inches of it. And that way, when I roll it back, I know it's not gonna be, true to form in terms of the actual length of what that should be, but it's going to be a little bit more effective so that I can place my puppy in such a way that it looks like he's biting the corner of this torn edge, and you'll see that in a moment. So I've just lifted the liner on just a part of my double-sided foam adhesive so that I can position it on the opposite end where I haven't released the liner, and that gives me a moment to get it in the right position before committing. And I'm just going to use a little bit of a glue dot to tack down this corner. It's super sticky. I accidentally peeled up a little bit of it, so I had to add a second one. And just to really make sure it's a nice permanent bond, I did dot on some liquid adhesive. But that's where I'm going to put my puppy. And I'm going to try to position it so that it looks like that corner is like in his mouth. And then I wanted the little bird to be helping the puppy tear back this edge too. But for that to look effective, the bird needs to be hanging off the end of that piece of paper. So the only way to really achieve that effect is to actually attach the bird onto a piece of clear acetate. And that way, similar to the dog, I can position this so that just the tip of that corner, it looks as if it's in the bird's mouth. And so the birdie is lifting or tearing back from the top edge, and the little puppy is tearing this from that bottom edge. And together they are revealing their friends, the reindeer and the little puppy. And so final touch for this will be the sentiment. And I've just pulled out the Merry Christmas with Shadow die set. And this one's really cool because there's one die plate for both the words and the shadow. But the words are, each word, all of the letters are connected. So that's nice and convenient because then you don't have to worry about sort of placing them together. But the individual words are separate. So you could stack these one on top of each other, or you can position them in a line like I am here. So I like that we have that versatility of being able to position it, but then we also have the ease of use that the scripty letters are all connected. So we can just, for each word, treat it as one die cut element. So that's going to go right on top of my card and finish up my Tearaway Peekaboo card. So I had a lot of fun trying out this design. Definitely it will not be an easy shipper because of that height on the torn edge. So I don't know exactly how I'm going to mail this card, but I love the effect of it and I love the look of it, especially the bird that's just hanging out kind of in midair. And so I'll have to think a little bit about how I actually give this card out, but I hope that you enjoyed it. And if you did, please consider liking, commenting, and sharing. And if you haven't already, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel and ring that notification bell so you can be notified whenever I post new videos to my channel. Thanks so much. Until next time, happy crafting and have a fantastic day. Bye.